Convener.
Liam Marshall, Chairman, Church of Scotland Trust. Moderator, I have pleasure in presenting what will be a very brief report from the Church of Scotland Trust. Some of you may be unaware of what the Trust does. What we do is we act on behalf of the Church, both at home and overseas. At home, as our report states, the Trust is currently trustee of 48 third-party trusts, which benefit different areas of the Church's work, such as support for university faculties of divinity, educational grants to university students, study grants to ministers, and financial support for specific congregations or presbyteries or the work of the unincorporated entities. The total value of these funds under our control at 31st December 2024 was more than £8.3 million. Some of the individual funds are very small, four of them being under £10,000. Some are much larger, the largest being over £1.7 million. In the years up to 2021, when the Church at large was under less severe financial pressures, there was no charge imposed on any of these funds for the costs of administration. But in 2022, a very modest charge based on 0.125% of the market value of each fund was made, giving the Trust an income of just over £10,000, thus reducing the required subsidy from central funds. However, it was discovered last year that such a practice was not compliant with the requirements of the Charity Statement of Recommended Practice, which specifies that any charge made, however modest, should be based on the actual costs incurred in administering the funds, resulting in some larger or more burdensome funds having additional specific charges now made. The new charging structure will be applied from 2025 onwards and will result in an increase in income to approximately £24,000 per annum. It has to be stressed that these increased charges are still very modest when compared to what professional firms of solicitors or accountants would charge. Thus, utilising the services of the Church of Scotland Trust still provides a very efficient and cost-effective way of managing these funds. With regard to our overseas work, this falls under three headings. Firstly, Pakistan, where the Church of Scotland has property interests located in Sialkot district, which is in the northeast of Punjab province, comprising land, church buildings, residences, and other property. For more than 50 years, the Trust has been trying to divest itself of these properties to the Church of Pakistan without success. And I very much regret to report once again that there has been no positive progress over the last 12 months, as despite the best efforts of our attorney in Pakistan, various powerful influences in the Church there are preventing progress being made. And with the current tensions between Pakistan and India, it's difficult realistically to view the situation with any optimism in the short term. Secondly, with regard to Israel, the Trust acts as trustee on behalf of the Faith Action Programme leadership team, holding the title deeds of our various properties there and holding the shares in our two commercial ventures, St Andrews Galilee Limited and St Andrew's Scottish Centre Limited. All of these properties are held by the Trust as bare trustee, and the beneficial owner is required to indemnify any losses suffered by the Trust due to its position as title holder. Like all of the Church, the Trust views with great concern the tensions in Israel and the detrimental impact these have had on our work there. Thirdly, with regard to the International Presbytery, the Trust has a broadly similar role to that of the General Trustees for congregations in Scotland. Once again, policy decisions are the responsibility of the International Presbytery, but the Trust has to approve any extensive alterations to properties, any property purchased, and the lease of any property in excess of 1 year. The Trust is also involved in the disposal of any buildings and is required to review the contents of all congregational property reports on an annual basis. Finally, in terms of our constitution, the number of trustees in the Trust must not exceed 20. At present, there are 10 serving trustees, 2 of whom are eligible for reappointment and are willing to be reappointed. We seek the Assembly's approval of this and also for the appointment of the Reverend Dr. John Cowie as an additional trustee. As always, I would like to thank the members of the Trust for their commitment and contribution to the work of the Trust over the past year. We are ably supported by the General Treasurer and members of her department and by the Law Department, in particular Madeleine Sproul, who acts as our Secretary, Clerk and Solicitor. It's largely due to Madeleine's efforts that the Trust is able to perform its work in such a smooth and efficient manner. Copies of the audited accounts of the Trust can be had from Madeleine on request. Moderator, I present my report, and as I'm not a commissioner, I would ask the Principal Clerk to move the deliverance.
I so move.
Seconded.
Thank you. We have a question from Peter Davidge.
Moderator, thank you, the convener, for such a almost calming and therapeutic report. It was marvellous to hear. It was just to ask the question, what are the properties in Pakistan currently being used for, and is there a current use for them?
I think the answer to that, Peter, is yes, they are being used, but without our authority or authorization. I think one of the problems in disposing of the properties is that some people prefer the status quo, where they are occupying the properties as if they were their own. And indeed, over the years, there's even been attempts to sell the properties, although they did not own them, which we were only able to stop by court action. So they are being used, but exactly for, I cannot tell you. We think they are being used for the purpose, the church for worship, college for teaching, but not with our authority.
Thank you. I see no more requests to speak, so Section 1, receive the report. Online, thank you. Section 2. Thank you. Section 3. And the deliverance as a whole. Thank you. Thank you.